So, just at Heritage Park in Calgary here, downtown. We're gonna go see Gasoline Alley. So this is Gasoline Alley, guys. These are cool. Clock face pump. By 1930, clock face pumps were made by almost every pump company. They were faster, safer, and more accurate than visible pumps, and featured dial showing the amount of gas dispensed. A bell rang with each gallon to let customers and watchful owners know how much they were pumping. That's really cool. The arrival of the computer pump in 1934, invented by the Wayne Pump Company, revolutionized the service station industry. It was a hit with both customers and owners, as it computed sales in dollars as well as gallons. Unfortunately, not all companies had profits to calculate. Hard times during the Depression left many gas companies and stations unable to survive. Clock face pumps were made by almost every pump company. That's really cool. Modern day times, guys. This is what it looked like in modern day. Way more character back in the old days. How times change, eh? And then that's for electric cars. Electric charger. Look at these old cars, man. Ford dump truck, 1932. 1 ton, extremely popular on farms. Very simple and reliable. Has an auxiliary transmission and steel cab. It's quite unusual. Oh, it's got an auxiliary trans? No way. Ooh, that's cool, man. Shell tanker truck, 1926. Widespread use of cars created an unprecedented demand for gasoline and motor oil. Rare example of light fuel delivery truck. Fully restored, a new oak cab, vintage 500-gallon fuel tanks, and 12 vintage 5-gallon fuel cans. 1926. 1916. Coffin Nose International. The arrival of gasoline-powered trucks and tractors in the late 1910s marked a shift for Alberta farming. Instead of having to rely on horsepower and contractors with steam-powered threshers, more farmers invested in buying their own machinery. Trucks like this one meant that farmers needed fewer labor hours to produce the same amount of food. This was good news for Alberta, whose population was growing, and for the farmers, who could now make much larger profits. Old farmer's truck, 1916. Champion Spark Plug Company of Canada, Windsor, Ontario. 1927, Imperial Bank of Canada had a fleet of maroon-colored express vehicles that traveled between some of the branches. Different vehicles were used for different purposes. Some transport bank executives, others to deliver cash and checks and packages between branches. Look at these old beauties, man. Ooh. The open road. Early roads were crude and often had to be constructed along the way. Drivers would lay planks of wood over obstacles like mud and stones so the wheels did not get stuck. Over time, road conditions improved and granted mobility to many people. This allowed increased social interaction, enhanced trade. Did you know 100 years ago, the first paved road opened on August 18th, 1923 in Bon Accord, Alberta? Look at these beauties, man. Whew, these are nice cars. This is absolutely gorgeous, these things. Oh. 1930, Marmon Roosevelt. 1922, Grey Dort. Ford AR Roadster pickup, 1928. Overland, 1911. McIntyre, 1909. Ford Model T, 1915. 1914 Grant Roadster. 1912 Little Roadster. Lean on the horn. Honk and toot were common sounds on the early roads. Cars were difficult to control, especially with all the pedestrians on the road. Not to mention potholes, steep hills, ice and mud. Even simple air bulb horn made a lot of noise. Some motorists preferred the elaborate brass horns with jewel eyes and snake faces to scare everyone moving out of the way. Later electric horns were tame by comparison, and when nothing else worked, motorists could always just yell. Hands on the wheel. The very first cars had no steering wheel. They were steered with a lever or tiller. By 1910, steering cars were standard. They were very basic and usually made of wood. As automobile technology advanced, synthetic materials replaced wood. Buttons and switches on the wheel became common. First to activate the electric car's horn, and then later to accommodate the many gadgets and accessories found in cars today. In the early days, headlights were considered luxury accessories, so few motorists ventured out after dark. The first automobile lights were candle lamps modified from horse-drawn carriages. They did little to light the way, merely warning others that a vehicle was on the road. Soon, automobile lights were invented, running on acetylene gas and then electricity. In the 1930s, bright electric lights were standard on most cars. Driving at night became safer and more common. The only way for them to indicate their intentions to stop or turn was with hand signals out the window. Wealthy motorists could buy wooden arms to do the job for them. By the 1930s, motorists could choose from a range of innovative signals, including short sticks that used flags to communicate the driver's intentions. Buick introduced the first electric signal in 1938. Solid rubber tires used on the first cars were a mixed blessing. They had virtually no grip on the road, which made it difficult for motorists to turn, stop, and accelerate. They were also very heavy. On the other hand, they hardly ever punctured. Once pneumatic tires pumped with air became common, so did punctures. Over time, tires were developed that had an additional nylon, rayon, or steel cords to strengthen them, as well as patterned grooves and channels to improve the grip. Computer pumps, clock face pumps. Pre-visible pumps made motorists grumble that they could not see any fuel that they were buying. In 1915, visible pumps solved this problem. The innovation allowed gas to be pumped from an underground storage tank into an exposed glass tank, so motorists could see what and how much they were buying. This was good news for the filling station owners. It was harder for motorists to accuse them of cheating. There was art too back in the day, these things. Like actual pieces of art, not like now. Like these are gorgeous. I have one of these in the garage at home. The artwork too, top. Pumps were an important way for oil companies to distinguish themselves from their competition as more and more Canadians took the road. Gas pumps evolved from modest beginnings. The first pumps were small and hand-operated, resembling water pumps. As these pumps were neither safe nor convenient, they were quickly replaced by new technologies. Pumps were reborn in the 1910s as bright, flashy icons designed to attract customers. Competition was fierce, and advertising art and pump styles changed annually as gas companies fought for their economic lives. Solanus Bauer invented the first outdoor gasoline pump. The Bauer self-measuring gasoline storage pump appeared in 1905. Square metal tank inside a wooden cabinet with a flexible hose and manual suction pump. Since motorists could not see any fuel they were buying, these pumps have become known as pre-visible pumps. That same year, a visionary in St. Louis, Missouri opened the first ever drive-in filling station. The modern gas station was on its way. 1918 Maxwell tanker. This rare little truck saw limited production as Maxwell Motor Corporation was for the most part a car manufacturing company. Early advertisements induced customers to purchase Maxwells, as one Maxwell truck will do the work of 3 horse teams to an operating cost less than the cost of maintaining one team. They also dispensed advice. It was advisable not to drive your truck in crowded streets or congested traffic until you've become thoroughly familiar with its operation. These old trucks, man, were hard to drive. You can see the lights. The old car lights. Signal with your hand, or those old signals. It's so gorgeous though, back when they were art. One of 3. Summer vacation. I think it'd be really cool to like put like beer or something in this. Like, you imagine getting one of these and putting beer in it, or like something like that. Oh, apparently it was a competition for marketing. Yeah. People would want to go to a pretty gas pump. Yeah, it was like an actual thing.
Well, so Franklin, right, designed a gas station, right? station. All the gas was in tanks above ground and
Above the gas station. That's crazy.
It was the most dangerous thing.
Yeah, no. I love Frank Lloyd Wright too.
But it
Like,
was- but it
yeah.
was designed for beauty.
The Mac, the 1912, yeah.
That's pretty gorgeous.
All the old brass, the wood and the wood and the brass. Oh, it's chain driven. That's so cool. It's a chain driven car. Before axles. They didn't have axles yet, so it's chain driven. Apparently before it was a tiller.
Right.
Didn't even have a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like the earliest cars didn't even have
Use
steering
the
wheels.
brakes.
I think these are gears. I think these are first, second,
second,
and reverse. Yeah, and then these would be the brakes. I think that's for the winch. I think because there's a winch on the back.
yeah.
I think that's a lock for the winch.
things,
Yeah. There's hooks. Yeah. Well, it's a work truck. Oh, it's a crank start too. You have to actually crank. Yeah, you actually have to crank it. The Benz fuel tanker too. 1912.
Before Mercedes.
Federal. They're actual works of art. Yeah. 1922 white fuel tanker. Oh, there's a 1910 wagon. Fuel tanker wagon. Literal wagon, yeah. 1913 IHC auto wagon. America's foremost manufacturer of farm implements and agricultural machinery. International Harvester Company produced about 20,000 high-wheel motor vehicles from 1907 to 1916. Chase auto delivery wagon. Oh, you can see the starter. The hand-driven crank starter. That's so cool, man. That's so cool. The bevel gears there. 1920 auto car dump truck. Mac 80 tanker, 1929. Incredible, man. Incredible selection they got here. Brush Model B runabout. If I ever find one of these, I'm buying it and filling it with beer. I'm totally doing that. It's an incredible, like, the amount of stuff you guys have here is incredible.
Yeah, it's all one guy.
One guy?
Who was the builder?
The guy's name's Roy. I'll show you his bio here. He was born in Regina. Ron Carey's his name. And he donated all these things, except for the 10 cars, and all these things are his. Now, naturally, he was in the whale business. Well, have a look at this. This is our demonstration on the Model T. It's before 1912, you had to crank things over. So it didn't have a battery. You had a magneto just to start things up.
Yeah.
Something
That's so cool.
Problems.
And this is for the first, second, and reverse, right?
You're not entirely wrong. The gas is on the steering column. That's low gear. That's Ford called it. Neutral, high gear. Just two gears. That's reverse. And that's your brake. You're right there. I mean, that does have a parking brake. This is just kind of like a transmission clamp. When you got it down to where it's almost going to stop, you pull the handbrake on, and then it'd be in neutral there too, and then you could get out and do your shopping. On the early models, you went through it off. You put it into neutral and then stall. I mean, when you get into the fancy model at the back, you can actually just turn it on.
Yeah.
You want to try it out?
Alrighty, guys. So we're coming to the end of this one. We did Gasoline Alley, Car Museum here. So it's in Calgary, Heritage Park. It's really good, guys. So if you enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That'll be it for me, guys. Sasquatch Prospector out.